When you hear the word mummy, what comes to mind? A body wrapped in linen, a golden mask, a hidden tomb beneath the Egyptian desert. But what if everything we've been taught about mummification misses its true purpose? What if the ancient Egyptians weren't trying to preserve the dead, but to preserve the person? To them, death was never the end. It was the beginning of another journey. And preparing for that journey became one of the most sacred acts of their civilization. The story of mummification didn't begin in a royal palace or a temple. It began in the desert. Thousands of years before the pyramids were built, Egyptians buried their dead in shallow graves. The hot, dry sand naturally removed moisture from the body, slowing decay. Skin, hair, and even soft tissues could remain remarkably well preserved. The Egyptians paid attention. They didn't see this as a strange accident. They saw it as nature revealing a possibility. Over generations, they transformed what nature had demonstrated into a sacred practice, using natron, linen, oils, and aromatic resins to preserve the body intentionally. Science and spirituality grew together. To the Egyptians, a person was never just a physical body. A person was made of several interconnected parts. There was the physical body, the Ka, the vital life force, the Ba, representing individuality and personality, the Ren, the sacred name that preserved identity through remembrance, the Ib, the heart, believed to hold memory, conscience, emotions, and moral character, and finally, the Ak, the transformed being that emerged after successfully completing the journey into the afterlife. One ancient text even describes a man's conversation with his own Bia, exploring what it means to be human. Preserving the body was an act of continuity. To slow decomposition, the Egyptians removed the internal organs, drying them with natron. The liver, lungs, stomach, and intestines were then preserved in sacred canopic jars. But one organ stayed inside the body, the heart. Believed to be the seat of wisdom and truth, the heart would be weighed against the feather of Maat. This judgment wasn't about wealth, power, or fame. It measured only the truth of how a person had lived. The timeless message, character outweighs achievement. The complete mummification process lasted about 70 days. The body was purified, carefully dried, anointed with oils and precious resins, wrapped in layer upon layer of linen. Protective amulets were placed between the wrappings while priests recited sacred prayers and rituals. This was never simply embalming. It symbolized transformation. Just as the sun disappeared below the horizon each evening before rising again with the dawn, the Egyptians believed life itself moved through cycles of death, renewal, and rebirth. Death was not the opposite of life. It was another chapter in an eternal journey. Not every Egyptian received elaborate mummification. The most sophisticated procedures were for the wealthy, but the deeper lesson belonged to everyone. The Egyptians believed what deserved preservation wasn't status or possessions. It was integrity, truth, and character. Perhaps the ancient ceremony of weighing the heart is still asking us a profound question, not after death, but today. What are you carrying in your heart? Thousands of years later, the greatest wisdom of mummification isn't about preserving a body, it's about preserving the best within ourselves. Because in the end, the legacy we leave is not what we owned, but who we became. The ancient Egyptians were not obsessed with death. They were devoted to understanding life, and perhaps that is why their civilization still captivates us today. Because beneath the linen wrappings lies a timeless invitation to live with a lighter heart, to seek truth, to cultivate integrity, and to become the kind of person whose life speaks long after the body is gone. If this journey into ancient Egyptian wisdom resonated with you, subscribe to Inner Light Integration. In our next documentary, we'll explore why the ancient Egyptians believed every person had a divine calling, and discover what that ancient teaching might reveal about finding purpose in our own lives.